Hello and welcome, and this is Living the EV Life. So unusually for today, I'm not sat in the driver's seat. Today I am sat in the boot. We have a beautiful view. It would be even more beautiful if the weather hadn't put a spanner in the works, let's say. I was hoping for a beautiful, nice sunny day. We could see over the Dunstable Downs and enjoy some lunch. So that's what I'm doing today. Two things for today's video. One, I'm going to discuss the announced or semi-announced or leaked, I don't know what you want to call it, potential tax on EV drivers pay per mile. 3p is what I'm reading. It will be announced in the budget, I'm sure. We will find out more then. But I want to comment on that. And other thing I wanted to do, use the vehicle to load system in this car to enjoy some noodles. So I have some kabuto noodles. Hopefully you can see those. Yep, there you go. So I also have my kettle. As I say, I'm going to show you the vehicle to load system. So I have some 500 mils of water in my pot, and I'm going to see how long it takes to boil. So for anyone who doesn't understand what I'm doing here or doesn't know the vehicle to load system, simply as described, vehicle to load. So the vehicle has a battery, large battery pack, lots of electricity, lots of power, and you can plug into it any kind of load that you want up to a maximum of around 3.5 kilowatts. So this is your average domestic kettle. You don't have to buy a low power, slow boiling, kind of rubbishy travel kettle. You can use a full-on domestic kettle. The vehicle will cope with it absolutely no problem at all. So we are 2 minutes 20 into my video. I'm going to just click go. You can see the blue light is on, although you can't because the camera angle doesn't get down that low. But let me reassure you, the kettle is on and we are ready boiling, or ready to boil. So I've never had these noodles before. This is chicken ramen flavour. Tells me to remove the lid, filter the line, replace the lid loosely to 3 to 4 minutes, which is an opportunity to meditate or practice your karate, apparently, according to the instructions. It does actually say that on there. Then you stir well, leave for a minute, and enjoy them straight from the pot or poured into a bowl. And if no bowl's available, try upside down helmet. Now I do a lot of cycling, so I often have a helmet in my car, but I wouldn't want to eat my noodles out of it. Gets a bit sweaty, and also it has vents, air vents, so all noodles will fall out the vents. What I do have though, I have my titanium cutlery set. So I have my titanium fork. I don't have titanium chopsticks. You can get titanium chopsticks. I know Alpkit make them. That would be really cool. I'd like a pair of titanium chopsticks. But I've got my titanium Life Venture fork. So that will do me for my noodles. And you can hear the kettle boiling, and I can already see the steam coming off. And that's less than 2 minutes. So when my timer on my phone here reaches 4:20, that'll be 2 minutes. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4:20. There we go. 2 minutes and 2 seconds. So let's fill that up to the line, wherever the line is. Why do they make the lines on the outside of these things? You pour the liquid in the inside, but they put the line on the outside. That's about right. You'll have to do anyway. So close the lid over. We're good to, what did it say? Meditate or practice your karate. So that gives me the opportunity to move on to the other topic. So, pay per mile. There's been a lot of discussion about it. you will see lots of people on the internet talking about it. So it looks like the government here in the UK are thinking of bringing in a pay per mile charge for electric vehicles. So it won't be for all vehicles, it will just be for electric vehicles. Where does that leave me? So as this channel is my experiences of EVs and my experiences of this Kia EV6, my first EV, I kind of feel like I should really always start on my perspective. Where does it leave me? Everybody has a different situation. So at the moment, as things stand, if I charge at home, which I do primarily for probably 95% of my journeying, then the cost per mile is currently 2 pence. So it's very, very cheap. So it costs me 2 pence per mile to run this car. So if we then add on 3 pence per mile as a charge from the government, then that more than doubles my running costs for this car when it comes to electricity. Now there aren't many other running costs. I do need to fill up my washer fluid, and at some point around 100,000 miles I'll probably need another set of tyres. But apart from that, there is really nothing else. Servicing, MOT, that of course. But it's mostly the cost of the electricity, which is 2 pence per mile. Add 3 pence per mile, we are more than doubling. Now, I do 25,000 miles per year, so I'm quite a high mileage driver as well. So 3 pence per mile at 25,000 miles per year. I did some calculations. It's quite an easy one. 25 times 3, add a 0 on the end to make it pounds. And that will give me £750 that I'll have to spend extra each year in order to run this car the way I am doing. So, what are my options? Well, I could, of course, like a lot of people will do, take a political position, go out and protest. I could vote for somebody else when the time comes round to the next general election, which is always a good option, depending on what other policies the parties have, obviously. Or I could switch. I could go from electric vehicle and I could buy a petrol car, go back to petrol. I was in the petrol car prior to this car, so I have no qualms in driving petrol cars. I've had some very good ones, some not so good ones, same with diesel. I wouldn't want to go back to diesel when they brought in the whole AdBlue system. That's what put me off diesels. Doing AdBlue was a pain. I said to myself, I'm not having that. Went back to petrol. So I could go to petrol. But if you think about it, add the 3 pence to the 2 pence, and that makes 5 pence. There's no way I can get a petrol car and run efficiently enough to get 5 pence per mile efficiency. It will be 15, approximately, when you add in the cost of, well, just for the cost of fuel. Ignore all the rest of the running costs, just the cost of fuel. And what's to say that later down the line, having made that switch, they don't then apply the same 3 pence to petrol cars on top of the fuel duty and so on. After all, they're trying to push people out of those cars. So I, for certain, at this point, will be sticking with electric. To me, it's a better car. It's better performing, it's better to drive, with a low centre of gravity, it's really well balanced. This particular one is excellent. I can charge it at home. There's just so many reasons to stick. And then on top of that, it's cheaper to run. And going from 2 pence per mile to 5 pence per mile, although a significant increase, as I say, 750 per year works out about £62 a month, I think. That's a significant increase, but it's still not enough that it's in anywhere equivalent to petrol. That's my perspective. And of course, that's based on my situation, my driving, my usage. Yours will be different. That's why whenever I do these videos, I'm saying this is my perspective, this is my experiences. I'm not telling you to make any decisions like I do. I'm telling you to make your decisions. I'm making my decisions and telling you what I've chosen. You can either decide to do the same, or you can decide to do something completely different. That's entirely your choice. I can also see, though, from a whole country perspective, if you aren't charging at home, if you're already paying above the odds to charge your electric vehicle because you're charging from Shell Recharge or GridServe or Instavolt or one of the expensive charging networks, and you're having to pick up that cost rather than charging from home like I do, then you're already spending a high cost on having an electric vehicle, and then 3p per mile on top of that, especially if you are a long distance driver or a high mileage driver like I am, then that's going to push things way beyond what you want to spend. And then I can see people choosing not to switch to electric or switching back to petrol, and that is a shame. So I personally think that where I stand with being able to charge from home, I am fortunate. There are a lot of other people like me. I think the majority, statistically, there's only 40% of people who couldn't do it, which means that 60%, obviously the majority, could do it and charge from home. So it's a minority, it's a large minority, but this change, if it comes through, especially if it's not also applied to petrol, will be a sticking point to prevent people making a switch. Anyway, my noodles are ready. Let's see what these are like. So there's not much in here apart from noodles and sauce. Sometimes you get little bits of vegetables. I mean, there are some, if I scoop right up to the bottom and give it a good stir, there's nothing in the way of real food in here. I'm not one of those YouTube people who are just going to kind of go, this is beautiful, oh, gorgeous, nice, and claim it's the best thing ever. Let's have a look. Let's see. Let me also get this all down me. This is my lunch break from work, by the way. So I'm going to get this all over my shirt and hopefully not. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Yeah, it's okay actually. That's not too bad. Let's have a look at the scenery. It's quite nice out there actually. It's a great view. Just going to get my other camera so you can have a look as well. So this is the view. Down there somewhere over to the left there is a glider centre, and as you can see the skies are pretty grey, overcast and nasty looking, but it's still you can't see it so well on the camera, but from my perspective it's still a nice place to sit and eat my lunch. I could do with the road beside me here being a little bit less busy or a little bit less noisy. Let's try these again. It's good. Don't think I've got quite enough in the kettle for a coffee. I have some of these you see that? These are from Husky. These Husky cups and some powdered coffee. But I think I'll just have the noodles, to be honest. Thank you for watching. I'm going to have my noodles now. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like what I do, subscribe. If you want to make any comments, I'm sure someone wants to make a comment on the paper mile, then put them in the comments down below. And again, as I say, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.